Welcome to this week's episode of Freedom Friday, where we explore biblical and historical counter narratives of faith, hope, and resilience. Today's narrative takes us deep into the Egyptian desert, to the unlikely transformation of a once notorious criminal into one of the most revered saints of early Christianity. This is the astonishing journey of St. Moses the Ethiopian. Our feature text then is Romans 8:29 to 30. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. Saint Moses the Black, also known as Moses the Ethiopian, was born around 330 AD in Ethiopia. His early life was marked by hardship and moral decline. Initially, he was enslaved by a government official in Egypt, but Moses was dismissed due to theft and suspected murder. Following his dismissal, he organized and led a gang of 75 bandits that terrorized the Nile Valley, becoming a formidable figure known for his physical strength and leadership among the robbers. But something extraordinary was on the horizon for him, something no one, least of all Moses, could have imagined. Even in the darkest chapters of Moses the Black's life, while he was terrorizing villages and leading a gang of bandits, God had already marked him, called him for a life of beauty, love, humility, sacrifice, and forgiveness. His story, his narrative reminds us that divine purpose is not limited by human failure. Moses stands as a powerful illustration of God's redemptive calling, showing that no one is beyond the reach of grace and that God's choice can transform even the most broken past into a testimony of mercy and hope. A pivotal moment in Moses' life occurred when he attempted to rob a man, but he was thwarted by a barking dog. In a subsequent attempt, he didn't give up. He swam across the Nile with a sword in his mouth to reach the man's hut, only to find the man had already escaped. Frustrated, Moses stole 4 sheep, slaughtered them, and sold their fleece for wine. And then, seeking refuge from the authorities who were after him, he eventually took shelter with monks in the desert Wadi el Natron, then called Cetus. Here, among the monks, he encountered something that disrupted his worldview: peace, discipline, devotion. He saw a different kind of strength, one born not of brutality but of humility and inner stillness. Touched by their example, Moses renounced his past. He was baptized and took up the monastic life. But transformation isn't always instantaneous. Many times, it's a journey. In the harsh desert climate, Moses dedicated himself to change. He carried water nightly for elderly monks, fasted frequently, and spent 6 hours each day in prayer. The violent impulses of his past didn't simply vanish, though, but he fought them with spiritual discipline. Over time, he grew in wisdom and compassion, and he who once destroyed lives began healing them with counsel, love, and grace. Moses' transformation was so profound that he became a spiritual leader within the community. He was known for his humility, wisdom, and compassion. One notable incident illustrating his humility involved a council convened to judge a fellow monk. Moses arrived at the council meeting carrying a leaking jug of water, symbolizing his own sins and questioning his right to judge another. This act led the council to forgive the erring monk and highlighted Moses' deep understanding of mercy and self-awareness. But redemption would be tested. One day, a band of armed men broke into the monastery. These bandits were unaware that they were attacking their former leader. Moses easily overpowered them, and he could have sought revenge and destroyed them, but instead, he tied them up and brought them to the chapel. And what happened next is remarkable. The attackers, shaken by his mercy, chose to stay. They joined the monastery. Even in danger, Moses modeled a gospel of radical grace. Around 407 AD, with Moses in his 70s, the monastic community at Cetus faced a dire threat from Berber raiders. Foreseeing the impending danger, Moses advised his disciples to flee to safety. When they urged him to escape with them, he declined, stating, "All who take up the sword shall perish by the sword," reflecting his belief in accepting the consequences of his past actions through peaceful surrender. He insisted, "Violence once defined me. I won't return to it." Moses was martyred alongside 6 fellow monks who insisted on staying behind with him. He died in peace, unarmed and unafraid. Today, St. Moses the Black is venerated in Orthodox Christianity, Catholic and Coptic traditions as well. His life stands as a symbol of redemption for individuals and communities alike. From violent gang leader to desert father, the story of this black leader reminds us that no one is beyond grace and that true transformation is possible even in the most barren of deserts. He is a saint for those seeking second chances, a prophet of peace in a world addicted to retribution, and above all, a witness to the astonishing power of God's grace. Thanks for joining us on Freedom Friday. If this story moved you, subscribe to Freedom Friday for more like it, and consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. In addition, you can find some additional resources on the life of Moses the Black in the description section of this video. Until next time then, stay faithful, stay hopeful, and keep walking in the path of freedom.